Welcome back, race fans. We're on our way to our second lobby build, and it's time to go racing. We should be able to start with hopefully a formation lap for you for our USA Grand Prix round 9 of the ARL's first season. We see Sparks leading by a single point against Wong Fei in the championship. Sparks and Roney opting to try and start this one from the last place. We are hoping to see everybody start on the correct tyre, and make sure you got your setups on, folks. If you're listening in, setups are mega important. Predictions, if you like, for our race. How far up the grid will Sparks and Roney get? Will we see any safety cars in Austin tonight? AJ apologises, but frankly, I don't think that's 100% necessary for a rebuild. Got that done nice and quick. Sunny day out there in Austin, Texas. I'd rather be in the shaded section of that grandstand than the sunny one. But maybe that's just my British nature talking. Ivan's watching along, so is ARL33. Anybody else here? Hey to Cohen. Cohen, who are you here cheering on? Or are you one of our drivers? If so, let me know what your gamer tag is. We're heading away for our formation lap, and a special massive shout out to any of our previous Celeritas Esports followers and subscribers. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for keeping the faith. We're still here in spirit. Sparks slow away from the line, you see, with Robbie, and I think there's one of the Aston Martin drivers back there as well. But Alpine starting 15th and 17th in our race, with Williams, who's just been disqualified for hitting another driver, Alex. Flexi in the lone Haas tonight, and the rearmost of the Red Bulls, Ash Tube in P12. We see Alexis, who was very slow off the line, running with Sparks currently, but starting 11th on first free choice of tyres. Chaos, Robbie and Sparks, the only drivers opting for medium tyres tonight. Slight surprise for me there. I would have thought majority of the tail of the field would have chosen alternate tyres. Ivan, traditionally what would be a disappointing place to start a race, P10, but on the same tyres as the 4 drivers behind him, will be not too worried about it. Soldier Stone, P9, then Amarillo in the AlphaTauri. We've got Soldier Stone's teammate, Saro Kazan, in 7th here. Then Rents in the McLaren, looking at around lap 9 to 12 and 18 to 21 for a soft medium. Although I think other drivers will potentially choose the hard tyres at the first opportunity, depending on timing of any safety cars. Cohen says he's driving here at the beginning of the year. So you are you're looking forward to 2022 next season, I presume. Good to have you watching along anyway, and hopefully we will get nice full fields for everybody. We saw Ivan disappear in the background, as did Saro, but Ayrton and Bachi, I've done it again. Ayrton and Bachi starting first and second, and just rejoining the grid here. We're about to get underway for you folks. Hope you're looking forward to this one. What's your predictions? Will Robbie and Sparks make it into a first to last challenge, or will they hit some roadblocks on the way? How many safety cars are we going to see tonight? Final car just joining the grid, and the tension is building for a 28 lap race around the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. trying to get you a nice starting grid camera angle. There we go, folks. The light gantry is lit. We're ready to go. It's lights out and go, go, go for ARL round 9 of the championship. Ayrton away beautifully up the hill, and they're just jostling for position a couple of places down. And Ferrari's having a good start. One of them going super wide. There's a bit of a argy-bargy and some debris flying around. Chaos Druid already out of the race, with Ivan dropped down to 15th, and Alex with him, Sparks and Robbie competing to see who can get up the grid furthest in the first lap. But there's an Alpine. Is that Sparks' turn round? It is. Sparks spinning in the first part of the S's, and around he goes. Amaryl making up places in the AlphaTauri, with Wongfi dropping down into P8, 9. Make it almost, what, 10th shortly to come. Yes, Wongfi from second in the championship dropping down the order, but Ayrton leads the way from Barchi, Ronan and Rents. Rents with a beautiful start there, and Alexis, what a start, up to P5. Incredible stuff as they head down the long back straight for the first time, challenging now as they are with Robbie on the offensive, and they're absolutely all over the road as they head down into turn 12. 3 wide they go, but it's Robbie in the Mercedes with the ideal line around the corner. It should pick up a track extension warning for that one. Checking his mirrors on the way through turn 13, and with a nice wide arc, one of the Red Bulls makes a lunge up the inside. ARL has lost out, and it's Ashtube turn round this time, and it's chaos in lap 1 for the drivers. Sparks, Ashtube, Ivan all dropping back significantly, but Ayrton leads the way by nearly half a second. Ronan, am I reading that right? Ronan in P3 with Rens in 4th, Alexis in 5th, and Amaryl up to 6th. Ayrton gets the fastest lap, but they're competing at the front of the field with Barchi trying one on down the inside. Will they touch wheels on the way out of turn 1 into 2? No, Ayrton holds on. Barchi will get a nice run here, but it will be very disturbed through the aero wake on the way through the S's, and they're away beautifully, gapping the field now as far as possible. The top 4 sprinting away from Amaryl. 2.5 seconds they've managed to gain, but Ronan on the tail of Barchi, waiting for a mistake or an oversteer moment. Barchi heading down to the first hairpin here of turn 11, and it's Ayrton away from the rest of the field. And this group of 4, I think, are going to be competitive throughout the race. Barchi forced to the outside by Ayrton before the DRS is enabled, but Ayrton's got the inside line. But Barchi just trying to find a little bit of room on the track. Ayrton, how late will he dare to brake? Not as late as Barchi, but he gets round the inside, takes the racing line, and that's beautiful track positioning and knowledge of the circuit around him. This one is definitely about to kick off. Ayrton with a nice inside line, middle of the road positioning, and should hold this through the triple right-hander. We've got some action going on with Sara, Kazan and Amaryl through the switchback section. Alex has got the second penalty of the evening with Ayrton. We've got Alexis running super wide and dropping down some of the places he gained already, but Robbie from the back of the grid on medium tyres all the way round and up to P7 on the medium tyres, and Sparks likewise medium shod but down to 15th with Ashtube right at the foot of the field. Ivan gaining 2 places up to P12 now, and Ronan is now just half a second back from Barchi, and this top 4 in a group of their own, but Amaryl getting up to a rhythm now and trying to hold off the fast charging top 4 that we've got. Ronan in the Ferrari hounding Barchi in P2 here, getting a little bit closer now and on the attack. Barchi looking in his mirrors and losing out to the car in front, which is Ayrton's leading Mercedes. Flexi with a penalty, we see, and we will cross the line next time out and get our DRS enabled. Hyper looking like he's jostling for position. Barchi fighting for that inside line. Ayrton gets a sweeping move around the outside, but Barchi on the exit of the track. Ayrton on the tight line on the way into turn 13. Will he lunge one into turn 15? No, but Ronan will, in the defense of the McLaren, suddenly disconnects, temporarily ghosts there with Rents getting by. So Rents up to P3, Ayrton dropping back now a second from Barchi after that compromise run after turn 12, and Barchi trying to get away here and sprint away from the DRS zone, but didn't manage it in the end. It's Ronan in P4 with the DRS behind Rents, but they've all got DRS here, and Amaril's caught right up to the back of these guys as they fight and jostle with each other. Amarillo up to speed and caught at the back, but that looks like Rents turned round in the McLaren. Big mistake. Turn 2, it's all gone wrong, and tumbling down the field. He's got a huge amount of track to cover with no front wing, and that's going to cost him massively. In fact, nearly the entire field has gone by except for Flexi, who's pitted early, but Barchi on the defensive now, in fact, from Ayrton, who's had a great run through the S's. I wonder if Ayrton has a higher downforce setting and is able to capitalise on the grip levels through the S's better than anybody else. He's got DRS on the Aston Martin, takes a wide entry into turn 12. Will that buy him a little bit of grip on the way out? It does, but he's just going to have to live with being close enough at this stage. ARL fighting with Alexis and gets fastest lap, but they're a little way down now. P8. Sorry, ARL getting a penalty in that melee, and fighting now Alexis and Wangfi. Let's go down there and see how that one's progressing. ARL ahead of currently Wangfi and Alexis. Looks like they've sorted their differences out for the time being, but Ayrton back on the offensive against Barchi. It's lap 5 already of 28, and those soft tyres, certainly the drivers will be starting to feel the pain of running the soft tyres, with Robbie up to P5 from 17th on the grid. Alex out of the session. I can't see where he stopped. Is he in the pits? I think maybe he went to the pits to retire early. Alex out of the race, unfortunately, but focusing on what's going on circuit. Ayrton 2/10 in the middle of the S's behind Barchi. Yeah, Alex completely out of the session there in the pits for the Williams car. You heard the beep of the DRS, but Ayrton really struggling on top speed here. Can he get his way up to 198, 199 miles an hour? Oh, he takes the outside with Barchi, expecting the switchback. Presumably Ayrton's going to pick up a track extension warning there. Barchi's going to have the opportunity to dive down the inside into turn 15 and defends that one very nicely. Good racing from both drivers as they navigate the difficult section of the track. Ayrton just understeering with the aero washout, staying tucked right up behind Barchi's Aston Martin. Ayrton with a straight run to the final corner, and this should be another good drive away. DRS enabled, a weave to the inside from the Aston Martin. Oh, that looked like he was using the pit lane entry to try and get the extra few meters. I don't know if Barchi will stand for that one in the stewards later. That might cause a report. It looked like he crossed the pit the pit exit to extend the track slightly, but whether that means balancing a track warning or two, I'm not entirely sure. Alexis is retired from the session as well, and I think that's Ivan in the pits, slightly ahead of schedule perhaps. It's lap 5, slightly earlier than I would expect drivers to be coming in. Amaral now up to P3, has got past Ronan. Amaral with a nice gentle start on those tyres is now able to exploit the additional grip that he kept. Barchi's on the defensive against Amaral, takes the inside line. Will Amaral get by before the braking zone or during it? Amaral leaves a gap to the inside. Wasn't treated very politely there by Barchi, who says, that's my position, mate, you're not having it, and sticks his elbows out. So Amaral P3 for now, sensibly living to fight another day. Didn't want to cause a race-ending collision there, but you feel he's got a little bit of pace on Barchi at the moment. Barchi looking slightly desperate to hold on to that second place. Amaral well in control of the car, well within the limits of the track. And which of our top 7 drivers will be the first one to pick up a penalty here, I wonder? and who will blink first when it comes to pitting. Ronan is close behind Amaryl, but I think Amaryl is fully focused, eyes forward on the Aston Martin ahead of him. And this one should be an absolute thriller as they head down towards, through the S's and towards turn 11 for the 7th time. Barchi gets a penalty. There it is. First of our front runners running out of tyres, and it started to look like Barchi's car was getting loose compared to Amaryl's behind him. So I wonder if Barchi will be heading to the pits shortly, struggling for grip maybe, and not able to take his preferred line through the corners. Wong Fei starting to regain some places. I think he's about to take Soldier Stone down a little bit in our grid. There he is. Wong Fei into turn 11 with a slingshot out of the hairpin, but the car in front has got DRS, Amaryl and Barchi fighting again into turn 12. Amaryl has got bags more grip than Barchi, but he needs to get the better of him. I think Barchi running low downforce compared to the other cars, certainly able to defend on top speed, but struggling all over the road with his grip levels. Meanwhile, Ayrton gets away, 1.7 seconds his gap at the front now. He's well outside of DRS and almost within an undercut defensive position. Anybody ducking into the pits on lap 7? No, not from our top 5 or 6 drivers. Of course, Robbie up to P6. And here comes Amaryl. He's finally got the inside line on the Aston Martin. He gets ahead of him before the braking zone, and Amaryl up to P2. And what a drive Amaryl's been having here tonight. Here he goes then through the S's. Very close behind is the Aston Martin, as I presume Amaryl spent quite a bit of ERS coming out of the final corner to get that place back. But there's precious few opportunities to get by through the S's. You just have to live with the car in front and harvest and save the ERS for your best opportunity for an overlap. In goes Amaryl then in P2, stretched to a half a second gap, but that's going to be easily shed from the use of the DRS from Barchi. Here he goes, Amaryl. Will he take the inside line? He will take the middle of the road, and Barchi gets the overlap through the inside. Amaryl trying the switchback. Barchi using a little bit of the outside of the corner. Barchi just driving Amaryl gently off the circuit. Amaryl forced to back off. Doesn't launch one down the inside into turn 15. And as they head then towards turn 16, 17, 18, it's Barchi ahead again, but look at the gap that Ayrton gained on that lap alone. Over a second from Ayrton gaining, and in comes Amaryl, tired of following these two drivers and being caught up in their pace. One of the Mercedes of Robbie running around the outside there, just caught out from the unusual line taken by Sarah Kazan. So Robbie happy, I would imagine, to sit here on those medium tyres. Preserve tyres, preserve fuel and ERS, and wait for these guys all to pit now in the next lap or two. Ronan looking very racy behind Barchi, but fastest of all right now is Ayrton, out there nearly 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field on lap 9. So the race is coming to the medium runners now on lap 9, and it's all about, for me, where does Amaryl come out? What kind of a gap has he got? He's got a nearly 13-second gap to Sparks ahead of him. So Amaryl on fresh softs has gone for a soft, presumably soft medium strategy here, as Barchi shapes to the inside. Ronan has a good overlap. Barchi's just going to release the brake pedal, do his traditional run on the inside. That leaves Sarah Kazan with an opportunity around the outside of the Ferrari. Sarah Kazan sufficiently alongside and ahead, and will be able to take the inside line on the way into turn 15. And what a move that was from Sarah Kazan. Beautiful opportunistic driving to get by Ronan, and if they both pit on this lap, that will be a genuine pass for position. So Barchi blocking Ronan on the way into turn 12, and Sarah Kazan being absolutely alive to it. In comes the Ferrari now. So the order of the pit stops was Amaryl first, followed by Ronan, and I wonder if those positions will be reversed once the undercut is actioned. Undercut not very strong here with just a fairly straight run down the main straight. New front wing for Ronan, that's going to complicate our calculations, isn't it? 3.1 seconds is Ayrton's gap at the front of the field, but Barchi less than a tenth at times behind Sarah Kazan. Robbie swapping positions with Barchi through the S's. I told you there wasn't much in the way of room to pass, but Robbie's having none of it. Just using the outside of the circuit, the inside as they switch back. And looks like because of the additional grip on those medium tyres, look at the amount of grip he's got, and away he goes. Ivan out of the session, sadly. Away he goes, but derating now. Robbie down the main straight. Looks like Barchi with that top speed advantage with the use of DRS and a little bit of ERS potentially versus Robbie. Barchi regaining his third place, although of course with the penalty that's making things a little bit complicated. Sparks made a slower job of getting through the field than Robbie, but he's now up to P5, Wongfi behind, and then Amaryl 13 seconds back, actually losing slightly to Sparks at this stage, which is surprising me because I would have thought Amaryl would have the best speed of anybody on new softs at this point in the race. Ronan went for new softs as well. No one braving the hards on the first stop, and we are more than a third of the way through our race. It's lap 11. Ayrton leads by 2.5 seconds now. Sarah Kazan starting to catch with Barchi less than a second behind, but Robbie looking like the man most likely as he is closing on the back of a podium position now. Senna says, how's it going? Yeah, it's good, thanks Senna. Glad to be here for an evening of racing. Robbie, oh, just trying those alternate lines, and unfortunately that's cost him a penalty. So just Ayrton and Sarah Kazan in the front with Amaryl, Ronan, Soldier Stone Ivan and Hyper Rents, your only drivers without penalties so far. Did I see for a moment that Ivan exited the session? He says he's been kicked, so hopefully one of our retired drivers can get him into the session, and hopefully someone can give him an invite or he can rejoin. We're very much still alive here, Ivan, I'm afraid. 13 drivers continue into the second third of the race, having lost Alexis, Alex Thomas, Flexi and Chaos. And then 10 laps into this soft stint run, and he goes through for an 11th, but Sarah Kazan does not. Barchi stays out as well. So Barchi and Ayrton on the same strategy, but Robbie again looking very tight. It looks like just this opportunity where the Aston Martin has the DRS ahead, but that won't be true on the way out of turn 11 here. It will be different. So Robbie, is he going to learn from last time round and not try these alternate lines? A little bit of derating happening on Barchi's car. No, Robbie is happy just to push the Aston Martin around the S's, and hopefully will have a good opportunity on the way out of 11 if he doesn't manage to pick up another penalty for collisions. Judging the braking of the car in front quite well here. Shapes to the inside, but I think Barchi will take that inside line once again if it gets close. Here we go. No, Robbie to the inside this time. Will he release the brakes? The Aston Martin's so late on the brakes, but it didn't help him that time as Robbie almost second guessed that move and held his inside line. Ivan rejoining thankfully and will be able to resume control of his car. So Robbie now up to P2 after starting 16th. Sparks up to P4 after starting 17th. Looks like Barchi's made it into the pits, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out relative to Amaryl, Ronan, Sarah Kazan. We'll keep an eye on him shortly. Looks like we've got Ayrton in the pits as well, so where does Ayrton come out? In fact, let's stay with him. and see if Amaral gets ahead with the undercut. Amaral going on to a second set of softs. Ayrton going on to a new set of mediums. Might be trying to stretch these mediums to a one stop. He gets out just with Ronan, who on warmed tyres will have the inside line as turn 3 and maintains his position. Ronan on the same strategy as Amaral, but Ayrton on a different strategy at this point, and down to 5th now. And the race will come to him shortly, but at the moment you fancy the soft tyred runners will have the speed to get away from the field. Ivan's retired from the session again. Has he actually crashed? I think he might have, with Rents getting by him there. Is that going to cause us a caution period? It's a double wave yellow through sector 1. Around the outside comes the Mercedes of Ayrton on Ronan, and that booking the trend slightly. They've cleared the car for the McLaren, so hopefully we will be avoiding a safety car at this point. I don't know about everybody else watching, but I think I've seen enough safety cars to last me a lifetime this season of F1 2021. Ayrton up to P4, Robbie holding on to P1. Again, trying to run those tyres long, but Sparks has now caught Robbie, and battle commences between our last to first challenge drivers. Sparks around the outside, leaves the car's width on the inside, knows he's got the inside for the next turn, and that was a beautiful move from Sparks. GG's to him. What a great move that was. Robbie and Sparks, I think, driving with a fair degree of mutual respect. Ivan says he's got a thunderstorm where he lives, and that's affected his retirement. Thankfully, Ivan, these things happen, but you didn't trigger anything major for anybody else on track. Just a double wave yellow for a short period. Ashtube with a penalty, and now our non-penalised drivers are in the minority. So Sparks getting more out of these medium tyres at this stage, with a little bit of better race pace than Robbie, but both drivers having given up a penalty. Amaral 9 seconds behind them on an alternate strategy on a 2-stop. You think halfway through the race here, potentially Sparks and Robbie running a 1-stopper. No one trying the hard tyres here just yet. But if the medium tyre life doesn't run as long as these drivers were hoping for, maybe they'll go on the hard tyres and we avoid a safety car. Difficult to say at this stage. Sparks, another penalty. Wow, this is out of character for Sparks. 6 seconds now to Robbie's 3. 12 seconds on Ashtube's car. Robbie trying an inside move, but Sparks not believing it. So one more of these penalties and Sparks is vulnerable to Amaral here. Ronan doing well. So is Sarah Kazan. So 3 drivers left without penalties to serve. In terms of position change, look at that. 16 up for Sparks, 14 up for Robbie, 5 for Amaral. Very much making the most of their poor qualifying sessions and doing a great job to bring the field, bring their race pace to the field. They're really, considering we haven't had a safety car, that's quite commendable halfway through a race to be up there. Robbie looks like he's got good pace in the car, but Sparks just holding off for now. Amaral closing, just about half a second he gained in the last lap. Looks like ARL and Saro Kazan fighting. Now they're on into turn 13 and 14. Barchi gets another penalty. So the race will definitely come to the drivers who can minimise their time penalties and stay with the pace of the cars in front. Amaral 3rd place. Robbie's gone in the pits on lap 15. Does that mean it'll be a hard tyre selection? No, soft tyres for Robbie. He's going to try and do a 12 lap run, which should be achievable. you think, potentially on the softs. So let's see if Robbie gets himself an undercut against Sparks with a good outlap. And obviously he needs a favourable gap to the car in front on his way out. I don't know if he'll get it. We'll see as that shakes out shortly. Robbie, no, he's right with Soldier Stone on soft tyres going around the outside. We've seen Robbie doing these unconventional lines for the S's to his discredit so far, getting penalties for his trouble, but navigates Soldier Stone well, and he's got a 1.4 second gap ahead of him to try and get a good lap out of this one. In fact, if he gets close enough under towards lap turn 11, he'll have a DRS opportunity on the way out, and indeed he does. So that's going to help him in the bid to undercut the car ahead. ARL down the inside of Sarah Kazan this time through turn 12. ARL's got the inside line. Sarah Kazan sticking on the outside, will become the inside into 14, 15. There we go. Good move, good driving from both drivers. They know there's still 12 racing laps to run. Sparks in the pits, so Amaryl will take the lead on lap 17. Ashtube and Robbie are fighting again. Looks like Ashtube wanting to delay Robbie as much as possible, get his sponsors some screen time, but that line around the turn is not going to help him out. They go around the final corner. Sparks on the way out now. Will he get out in front of Robbie? Yes, he does. So no undercut for Robbie as he was fighting with Ashtube, losing about 4 seconds to Sparks on that outlap. It didn't work out for him at all. So soft tyres for Sparks as well. And I think that's our first lap pit stops done for the field. Let's have a look at the battle for second. Currently Ronan on soft tyres against Ayrton's mediums. Ayrton 2 seconds off the lead, but with less than half a second separating him and the car behind. Here comes Ronan. Ayrton just drifting to the left, discouraging a move. Oh, that was a double move, frankly, from Ayrton. Takes a lot of apex. May have picked up a warning through there. Runs wide into 13. Turn 15 navigated relatively safely. So, living to fight another lap. ARL, another penalty, runs wide, battling with Sarah Kazan, who sneaks up the inside, very Verstappen on Kimi Räikkönen a few years back. But this one managing to hold on to the drive. Ronan and Amaryl fighting again. Amaryl's gone in the pits after just 8 laps on the softs. Now that's interesting for the sake of the soft runners at the end of the race. I presume he's gone on those so that he can have the full life out of the mediums, but Amaryl heading down the field almost to last position. Ronan picks up a penalty as we rode with him, short-cutting one of the corners. In terms of penalties then, that's just Amaryl and Kazan without penalties so far. Ayrton chasing down for the lead after that pit stop from Amaryl. Sparks behind ARL. We have a good battle brewing here. Sparks on soft tyres needs to make some good lap times while he's got a tyre advantage, because it's going to become a tyre disadvantage in about 8 laps time. Those medium runners are going to be okay. Sparks though with a penalty, just Sarah Kazan without. Could see him actually on this strategy, could see Sarah Kazan with an opportunity to win this race if he can keep driving clean. Sarah Kazan with these really good defensive lines, but Sparks with just so much more grip into turn 15, 16, putting some good driving in here. Barchi, another 3-second penalty unfortunately in the Aston Martin. He's in P6 at the moment. Fastest lap for Sparks using the DRS, but Sarah Kazan comes back at him around the outside. Will Sparks drive him to the outside? He tries, but Sarah Kazan with a switchback Just trying to stay out of the error wake at this point, I think. Minimise tyre deg. Ayrton picks up another penalty. Ronan and Ayrton are battling just ahead of these two. Looks like Ayrton managed to lose fairly significant amount of time, and Sparks coming right up behind him. Soft tyres, remember, for Sparks. He needs to try and get these tyres to the end. I think Ayrton's got some significant damage. He's really struggling. Either he just lost a little bit of momentum, or he's picked up some form of damage on the car, because he's so slow at this point. Maybe he's got back up to racing speed now, but Sarah Kazan with DRS. We've got a Mercedes off the track on the just around turn 10. It looks like it must be Robbie down there. This Mercedes of Ayrton comes around the inside, tries to stick with Sparks on the inside of the corner, and that's what you get for your troubles. Unfortunately, Ayrton spinning around down to P7, lost a huge amount of track position as a result of that contact, and I wonder if he will be giving Michael Massey a little call, or getting Toto or Andrew Chauvelin to have a call on his behalf. That one was a little bit dicey with plenty of laps to run, but Ayrton into the pits, I think he had some damage, or maybe just going for fastest lap now. Sarah Kazan still running with 0 penalties, but now defending from ARL. Sparks a quarter of a second behind Ronan. Ronan's tyres looking pretty old now. He's going to need to pit very soon indeed. In fact, I'm surprised he hasn't pitted already to see this one out. The longer you run at this point on the softs, the worse your race pace is going to be overall. Turn 11 dealt with, but Sparks looking like he's got amazing pace here. So Sparks, I fully expect to be past Ronan on this DRS straight. In fact, he's derating Ronan, making life even easier for Sparks. Excuse me, who takes that wide line into turn 12. Takes the lead on lap 20, Sparks, from starting from the rearmost position on the grid, P17 tonight. And yeah, the speed of Sparks, unarguable. He's destined for big things, is our Sparks. He's an Evora driver just like Ivan, but yeah, he's got so much pace. In comes Ronan then for new tyres to see him to the end of the race. Sparks now can manage his tyre wear, and I wonder how closely Sarah Kazan can get once he stops fighting with the cars ahead. How close can he get to Sparks? Can he get within the penalty range of that car? Sparks and ARL with 6 seconds, so Sarah Kazan doesn't need to make the pass here really. He can just afford to live with ARL as long as ARL's pace is similar to Sparks. Fastest lap currently lying with Sparks, predictably enough, for 34.762, which is about 0.8 of a second faster than anybody else. At this point, Soldier Stone and Rents and Ashtube have all put on new soft tyres, as has Ayrton, to see the race out. Ronan's gone on to mediums because he ran a soft medium strategy. Amarillo up to P6. So Amarillo still a bit of a gap behind the 5th place runner. Sarah Kazan defending from ARL, but can't really live with ARL and the DRS run there. So Sparks now 4 seconds in the lead, and frankly Sarah Kazan needs to get this place, and he needs to gap ARL, who runs very wide around into turn 15 again. ARL, I'm not sure what he's hoping to achieve with getting this many penalties for driving off track. Will Sarah Kazan hold on? Yes, he does, through turn 18 and 19, now turn 20, the final turn, and he's going to be vulnerable yet again as Barchi in the Aston Martin runs super wide. Sarah Kazan derating down the main straight. ARL goes to the outside. Sarah Kazan, will he feed off the brake line? Yes, he does. Navigating that one with a fair degree of maturity and wisdom. Sarah Kazan holding on. He just needs to back ARL into the car behind if he can. At this point, new fastest lap from Ayrton on the new soft tyres. I don't know if Sparks will have enough grip to fight with that towards the end. We've got 6 laps to run in our race on this glorious sunny day in Austin, Texas. Saro just starting to build a gap, but he's now over that crucial 6 seconds to Sparks' car. We've got, is that Robbie off the track, or is it Ayrton? It's Ayrton dropping down. He was obviously pushing super hard. It looks like Sarah Carson about to lose 2 places on this one corner. Yeah, really struggling, losing out with the DRS. I think he's also derating and hasn't harvested or reserved enough ERS for the end of the race. So Sarah Carson trying to stay on the podium, but I think the hopes of the win have just gone out the window as he lost 2 places with 6 laps to go. I'm not sure he's going to be able to regain the time on Sparks unless Sparks hits the cliff on the last 2 laps. So he's on the youngest, well, he's younger tyres than ARL, older tyres than Barchi by 1 lap each. But he needs to preserve a little bit of ERS. Barchi with a push down to the inside line and turn 1. Takes a long route through here. Sparks gets a new fastest lap, so he did have enough to fight for fastest lap there. And now battle recommences. Sarakazen getting right in there with the battle here for 2nd place on the circuit, which is 4 cars deep. Wong Fei not wanting to let Sparks get away with this championship too far, but could have done without that penalty tonight. Ayrton has retired from the session after that little spin. He's done it the right way, he's gone into the pits, but Ayrton out of the race, and that leaves 11 runners. Once Hyper Renz gets by, there he is. 11 cars left in our field, and it's a safety car on lap 23. So the question is, does anybody decide to put new soft tyres on? What will Sparks do here? Because, of course, if he goes in, he hands the advantage to everybody behind him to take the opposite decision and stay out. So I wonder what caused that safety car. Was it a late retirement from Ayrton, or is it debris on the circuit? I wonder if it is in fact debris, because Ayrton did appear to retire in the pits. In comes Sparks then. What does Barchi do? Slows. Very late on the way into the pits. That was possibly trying to fake out his rivals. And he's trying to do a 3-point turn. He's retired from the session. He's out of the race. Unfortunately, that was a very late call to get into the pits. I think he was trying to fake out his rivals, and unfortunately he's lost any chance of a podium now. So through the pits goes Ronan, ARL, Sarakaz and Wong Fei, Amaril, Robbie, the entire field. We're going to have a 5-lap sprint on new tyres at the end of this race. Soldier Stone, I'm not sure what that was. Similar situation, but just avoiding the wall. Hyper Rents has only just been in. Does he bother to make a pit stop here? We'll see. He's a long way back on the circuit. In fact, yes, he is coming into the pits. It's a difficult pit entry, but there are harder ones on the calendar. And just a few laps of practice will help the drivers work their way in here. Barchi, yeah, not happy with messing up that pit entry. Some unreadable comments in the Discord, but you can probably imagine what he's typing. He says he knows he's got the pace to win here. Well, possibly without Sparks on the track, you've got the pace to win, but Sparks does appear to be kind of in a league of his own. Ronan, interestingly, put new mediums, well, put aged mediums on the car. So Ronan in P2. ARL is in 3rd. Or did Ronan stay out? I wonder. I think maybe Ronan stayed out and only just pitted. Of course he had, yes, because he was running soft medium. So fairly late medium switch over for Ronan. Lap 24 then, it's Sparks in 1st place. Ronan, ARL, Saro, Wongfi, Amaril, Soldier Stone, Robbie, Ashtube and Rents. P10. Any complaints that I had at the start of the session for asking for 16 or more drivers, I think hopefully have borne out here. We've got 10 running towards the end of this race. Waffles has appeared in the Discord. It's a shame Waffles isn't here to drive tonight. Waffles being our fry pepper of old. What's with all the changing names, guys? Soldier Stone Pits does come in, so any places he gained on those soft tyres, I'm surprised really. I know he made a mess of that pit entry, but why not just live with it for the sake of 3 laps? Why give up those positions? He's in the pits. Rents just gets past him here, and we should get a 3-lap sprint out of this one for you at the end of the race. Good to have lasted all this time until the final pits, until the final stage of the race here, before getting a safety car. But I hope we don't have what is often late race restart carnage. So predictions in the chat if you're watching along. How many of these 10 drivers will actually finish the race with us tonight? Hope you've enjoyed the video tonight. If you have, share it with some friends. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for the rest of my commentary, between 6 and 8 races a week currently, you can follow me at WebberRed5 on Twitter, where I post every time I go live. Safety car confirms it will be in this lap, so we're looking to restart the race with 3 laps of frantic racing. Hopefully not too dirty. Hopefully we'll have a nice clean race to the end. Tyre warming going on. What I want from Sparks really is one decisive launch, no half launches or anything, because that's when we get so many problems. Ivan says Sparks will win this one. We will see. Penalty for Robbie for severe collision with Ashtube. Sparks has not gone yet. Will he go on the way in or in the middle of the final corner? Yes, there he goes. You see the launch suddenly on the way out, and that's a nice smooth launch from Sparks, who's close enough to the drivers behind. Sarakazen is potentially here for a 2nd place on the road bid. A late lunge to the inside. ARL is going to have to leave a car's width to the inside. He does. In fact, they both go racing. ARL didn't need to go completely off circuit there, but perhaps chose to with the unsettling nature of those curbs, and they head into the S's. Line astern. Will they all survive out of it? Sparks has gapped the field already by 1.2 seconds in about 5 corners. Slightly further down, we've got super close racing between the drivers here for battle for 4th. Sarakazen. We've got the Robbie's Mercedes going around the outside, and a launch down the inside goes Wongfi, risking the front wing end plate of the Alfa Romeo. Wongfi then launches it up, but he's going to be defending all the way down the long back straight into turn 12. Just ahead, ARL around the outside of Ronan. Can he get the job done? Goes for a long run around the outside there. That was good, respectful racing between the 2 drivers. ARL keeping the position for now. Will he just use the inside? Yes, he does. So both Ferraris together here in 3rd and 4th. We'll see everyone on new softs apart from Ronan. We'll try and remember that as we watch the penalty situation. Sparks has got a huge job to do. He needs to get 9 seconds ahead of the I guess ahead of Sarakazen, in fact, on the way through here, in order to keep the win. But with ARL with 6 seconds of penalties, it's going to be all over the place by the time we get to the end of this race. But meanwhile, let's watch the on-track action. Amaril in 7th has a chance here. Robbie absolutely doesn't, with 17 seconds of penalties, just getting in the mix and trying to do what he can on track. But the drivers around him will be slightly questioning the need to fight quite so hard here on track when you're already down so many places with the penalty. Better to just leave a gap and try and go for fastest lap potentially. That's your best result, the best way of securing a better result. The Ferraris fighting here. Wang Fei to the outside. Wang Fei with the lead in the championship, and Ronan knows it and lets his teammate go. Perhaps one of the Ferrari mechanics giving the call there to let your teammate go. Sparks has a 3.8 second lead over ARL, which should keep the place away from him. The Ferrari just defending, and there's an action there. Sarah Kazan, unfortunately, with so few penalties. Sarah Kazan touching the outside of the Ferrari. Unfortunately, the Italian team engine stablemates getting into hot water with each other. Now they're fighting between teammates. Sarah Kazan making sure that Soldier Stone knows who's the lead Alfa Romeo driver. Despite that little spin, that promotes Amaral up to 5th, and Amaral's got a really strong result pending here if he can keep himself clean and without penalties. The drivers in front, Amaral the only driver, but around goes Ronan. Wow, I didn't see that coming. In fact, there is unfortunately an illegal reset to track from Ronan. He won't thank me for finding that one on stream, but you don't press the reset to track button, I'm afraid, Ronan, as new as you are to the league. So Robbie on the inside, I can see that one being reported to the stewards. I must reiterate, I am not a steward. We're on the final lap of the race. Sparks has got a 3.9 second gap, make that 3.8 now against ARL. Wang Fei is further behind still. He needs to be within 6 seconds of Sparks to get the win here, and he's on target at the moment. Can he hold on? Sparks has got pedal to the metal. He's trying to create that gap as much as possible. Amaral should be able to get himself comfortably on the podium tonight, but Wang Fei, this is the big one. Can Wang Fei stay within 6 seconds of Sparks, I wonder? It doesn't look like it, but Sparks, that everyone should be on equal tyres apart from Ronan, who had those mediums on and has overheated them and having to live with the lack of grip. Robbie and Soldier Stone are fighting, but Sparks is just about 4 corners away from the end of this race. He's got a 5.9 second gap now. Wow, Sparks is pushing super hard. He's trying to keep hold of this win. Will he manage to survive it without catching another penalty? The gap has dropped down just underneath. Sparks slowing to the line. In fact, that might cost him. Sparks takes the win on the road. ARL through to take second place, but Wang Fei by a quarter of a second gets second place. No, make that 0.045 as Amaral wins in the United States. Amaral hold on by 4/100ths of a second from Sparks. What a drive from Amaral. Rafiq, congratulations from our Malaysian driver who has held on all the way through this race. And wow, a 2-stop strategy wins the race from Sparks based on driving clean, and congratulations to Amaral. That's absolutely the kind of spirit we want to see here. And Sparks in second. Wang Fei second in the championship has just been gapped slightly by Sparks now. ARL in third, Hyperrens in 5th. We've got Sarah Kazan 6th, Ronan in 7th, Soldier Stone in 8th, Robbie in 9th, and 18 seconds of penalties, and 10th place will presumably go to Ashtube. Sparks predictably enough with the fastest lap, but he could not make up for those penalties he accrued through the race. And there he goes. Unfortunately, that's the end of this one for Ashtube. I don't know what happened to him at the end of the race, unfortunately, but he will take. In fact, I think he's disconnected. So, wow, what a close out to our race there. We saw. Ivan says Sparks has won. He had no penalties. Well, I don't know. He seemed to have 9 seconds on the track. I'm going to have to call it as I see it and correct it later if penalties are removed. Amaral Rafiq, beautiful win. Brilliant stuff. Congratulations, Amaral. I think that was a tremendous drive there to take the win. Very controlled, very good. Patient driving and well controlled against the track limits. Good stuff from him. Sparks congratulating Amaryl, so I don't think he's expecting to get his penalties removed. So there's Amaryl Rafiq with the P1, Sparks in P2 with the fastest lap and a 9 seconds of accrued penalties. Wang Fei P3, ARL P4. He'll be pretty happy with that, I would have thought, after a dramatic race. Then Rents in 5th. Good result for him, given he was running so low at different points. A big shame for Sarah Kazan, who was running very highly indeed. Ronan with a mistake or a spin towards the end of the penultimate lap. Then Soldier Stone in 8th, Robbie in 9th, and Ash Tube rounding out the top 10, although I don't know if he'll pick up the final point because I don't think he was in control of the car at the end. Barchi 11th, classified but did not finish, and neither did Etten, Ivan, Alexis, Alex Thomas, Flexi, and the Chaos Druid we lost early on. So fantastic race from the drivers there. That one's definitely going to be a contender for Webbo's Race of the Week. Look out on Wednesday on Twitter to see which one wins that one. I'll try and let you know any reviews I get through or debriefs from the drivers. A lot of issues with certain drivers racing on the restart at the end there, but fair dues and GG's going out all over the place to Amaryl with a great win. So I think that's Amaryl's first win in the league. So as I say, congratulations to him. Ah, that's it. So Ashtu put inters on at the end. That's why he was so much slower. There we go. So I think that's about all the time we've got for you tonight. Congratulations to Amaryl, to Sparks, and to Wang Fei for a great podium. Thanks to the drivers for putting on a good show for us in the most part, and congratulations to everybody involved in Adrenaline Racing League. We're looking to build for a really strong second season and finish this current season further into the end of the season. But all being well, folks, we'll all take a week's break. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for any highlights videos that might appear, and especially that you'll get alerted when we next go online, which should be same time next week, 5:20 on a Friday in the UK. And yeah, until next time, guys, thanks to everybody. Special thanks go out to ARL33 Carrera, as we know him, for hosting the league and doing all the work in the background. Please don't ask what can be. Please don't go ahead and ask what your league will be doing next and what it does for you, but please ask what you can do for the league and support everything that happens. But yeah, we're very pleased to provide this racing for you all, and until next time, guys, I will catch you on the next race day.